So I'm back. So I've been meaning to make this video. So as y'all know, the Fever ended up making it to what is it, the conference finals? Yeah, they ended up making it to the conference finals against the um Las Vegas Aces, and they ended up going to the last game, a game five or game seven. I forgot what it is in WNBA. And it was actually a great competitive game. So I just wanted to talk about the Fever making it this far and almost making it to the finals without Caitlin Clark. So I know a lot of people was feeling like, how does this affect Caitlin Clark? Is Caitlin Clark overrated since the team went all the way to the conference finals without her and everything like that? So y'all know I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. If you've been on my channel, I've been one of her biggest supporters because she's my birthday twin, and our games is actually similar. Funny, kind of funny, but uh. So I haven't made a video since she announced that she was done for the season and my thoughts on that. So I want to touch on the Fever or whatever. How is people saying that she's overrated and she's holding the team back with her turnovers and everything like that. How I feel is this. It's kind of like when the Bulls made it to the with game seven versus the Knicks when Jordan first retired. Remember, people like to bring that up that the Bulls still won 50 games. It's true. So it just proves that Jordan wasn't on a bad team. But it shows the difference in the importance of Jordan because taking Jordan off the team, yes, you still a playoff team. Yes, you still good, but you just won three rings. So it shows that Jordan is the difference between making the playoffs and actually winning the finals. So regardless of how you slice it, it still matters. People like to bring up when LeBron leaves, the team end up sucking completely and everything like that, and they figure, oh, if the best player leaves, the team should just be one of the worst teams in the league. That's like I said, it's not always the case. It's just you should notice the drop off. Now, if the Bulls win the championship after Jordan, that would have looked kind of bad and kind of crazy. The same if the Fever would have won the championship this year, it would have kind of looked like a side out of Caitlin Clark. But it's kind of different for Caitlin Clark for two reasons. One, before Caitlin Clark got there, they had the worst record 2 years in a row. And when Caitlin Clark came, she won Rookie of the Year and she led them to the playoff. So we already got to see Caitlin Clark impact on the team and that she can help the team win because the team made it to the playoffs last year for the first time in 2 years after having the worst record. So it's not like if last year they didn't make the playoffs or wasn't good, then we could kind of look at Caitlin Clark. But because my point is this, I think they would have went this far with Caitlin Clark or possibly even further. That's my whole point is that it's not like if Caitlin Clark was on the team, they would have missed the playoffs. No, they made the playoffs last year. Yes, they went further this year, but it's dependent on matchups also. And you got to think these players are getting better and better. Aaliyah Boston now is in her third year. Last year was her sophomore year, and we know about sophomore slumps. Then you got Kelsey Mitchell, who's continued to grow and balling. She's an elite scorer. And then Caitlin Clark was supposed to have a better season this year if she didn't end up getting injured. I know her stats were down, but she was kind of really injured since the beginning of the season. So you can't really look at that. What this all this really do is put pressure on Caitlin Clark for next year. The Fever has to make the playoffs, have to be in deep contention, possibly win the finals because now the Fever should be the favorite next year to win the championship. Maybe behind the Aces or the Mercury, whoever win the championship this year, probably gonna be the favorite. But the Fever should be right under that, either the second or the third favorite, even over whoever loses, because you have to think that they getting Caitlin Clark back. And the only reason they lost, Aaliyah Boston had to get fouled out, and Kelsey Mitchell had to get injured for them to lose in overtime. That is kind of crazy that they almost won without their three best players. Like that's just crazy. And it's maybe it speaks to coaching. Shout out to the Indiana Fever coaching. We know she gonna get an extension because winning without your best players and getting your players to play that good, she deserves credit for real. So it's looking like she's a good coach. But this doesn't mean nothing. This just means next year it is pressure on Caitlin Clark because you can't come in and mess up the team chemistry and y'all can't start losing. Next year, I'm expecting the Fever to be in the finals. Especially, they have to at least get to the conference finals. They can't even lose in the first round next year. They have to get further, barring injuries. Of course, we talking about if everybody healthy. So it does put pressure on Caitlin Clark next year to have to at least make it to the conference finals, if not win the championship next year, because now we see how good her team is and the possibilities with her on the team. But we see you got to see the advantages and disadvantages to without Caitlin Clark, because Kelsey Mitchell can get buckets, but without Kelsey Mitchell, you see they don't have nobody else who could create their shot besides, I think her name was Sims. My bad, it's been a couple days, but who was going off? Like, I don't know. She been in the league because I looked her up. She been in the league for a long time. She kind of been a journey person, hopping from team to team. But she came up big, so hopefully they resign her to come off the bench because she could be a great six man for sure. But besides that, nobody could create their own shot like Caitlin Clark. And then we know Caitlin Clark is the best passer in the league. She would have led the league in assists this year. She was second uh, despite being injured. So we know how great of a passer Caitlin Clark is on top of her scoring. So that's kind of what they was lacking too. The Fever biggest problem is trying to balance Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. And we seen that last year because you got two scorers. It's kind of like maybe like LeBron and Kyrie to a certain degree, or Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Like, we got two supreme scorers. It's kind of hard to, it kind of like take your turn. Who gonna handle the ball? Because Kelsey Mitchell like handling the ball because she's an ISO scorer. She's not like a spot up shooter or somebody who scores off the ball like a Klay Thompson. So that's the biggest thing that I see with the Fever. Like, their biggest problem is that Caitlin Clark, we know how dominant Caitlin Clark, ball dominant Caitlin Clark is, and then Kelsey Mitchell is ball dominant too. So it's kind of trying to mix up the two when it comes to who gonna play off ball. But I can see Caitlin Clark playing off ball because we know Caitlin Clark is a good spot up shooter and a good shooter, so she can kind of play that role like a Steph Curry. But at the same time, she's so big on assists and so ball dominant. It's kind of hard because Steph Curry is not known for leading the league in assists and really setting up the offense. So that's the biggest challenge that I see is Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark balancing their game. But they should be able to work it out and figure it out. And the Fever, like I said, they should be the favorite or the second favorite, because you have to give it to the Aces or the Merc, whoever win the championship. You can't disrespect them. But when you're looking at the Fever, looking at they made it that far without Caitlin Clark, and the end with two of their players getting injured, it's like the expectations they have to make it to the conference finals, the finals, or win next year. So that's going to be the expectation for Caitlin Clark. They can't miss the playoffs or get bounced in the first round, or it is going to look bad on Caitlin Clark. And that's my opinion, and I'm out.